All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of We Create Music. The guest that we have on the show today is Ashley, an amazing singer, songwriter, and dancer. She absolutely is a triple threat.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having
Glad to
me.
have you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
So if you wouldn't mind starting us off and just tell us about yourself, your musical journey.
Well, okay, where to start? I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Long story short, I was scared to sing for a very long time. I've always known since like the second grade that I wanted to be a singer, but I would never sing in front of people. I did like, school plays and stuff, but I would always sing upstairs in the attic. My family could hear me, but I would never sing in front of them. So that went on for like most of my life.
Okay. And
then, let's say by the end of high school, college is when I started dancing. And so I kind of started coming out of my shell with that. Post-grad is when I started singing. And so then I let people know, I didn't know you could sing, Ashley. So it took me like 20-something plus years to like be able to get over that fear of like singing in front of people. And so like the last 7 years, I've been pursuing like my music career and writing my songs and being an artist. So
nice. So how did you break the shell to come out and say, boom, here I am a full-fledged singer?
I think for a long time, I always thought like something would happen where somebody would just find me and discover me and find out, oh, she sings. But it's like, how is that going to happen, actually, if you've never, work up the courage to sing in front of people? And so I started doing a lot of karaoke after graduated from college. And I think karaoke has really helped me like sing in front of people and be comfortable. But I went to audition for the X Factor. It was the first like season that first started the show.
Nice.
Me and my friends drove to Chicago and I got the call back for the next day, and then I didn't make it to the next round. I cried like all the way home in the taxi cab, and I said to myself, like, you're going to post a video. Like, if you don't end up on TV, like, because I'm always like, someone's going to find me, discover me. So I'm like, if you don't end up on TV, post a YouTube video. And that was like the first time I did it. I posted a couple of snippets of me singing, and then people were giving me a lot of love and support. And then like from there, like my manager reached out, and I'd already known him, but he was like, hey, you ever thought about a singing career? And I'm like, forever. So I think it was just like that of like finally like doing auditions and like putting myself out there to sing, and then still like nothing coming from it. And it was just like, you have to go for it. And so I had to get out of my own way and just do it.
Yeah, a lot of people are in their own way at times. They know they're talented in certain areas, but it's the fear of whether it's rejection or fear of people laughing at them or whatever it may be, right? And so they kind of, I know that firsthand myself.
Mine was always a mixture of both, like feeling like I was going to be too good at something and people were going to think, oh, she thinks she's it. Or if I made a mistake, especially with singing, like if I make a mistake, you'll hear if I go flat. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's like with dancing, to me, it's always been different because I feel like I can just keep moving. Nobody knows if you make a mistake dancing wise. You just keep it moving, but vocally, like you can hear.
You can hear that.
But you know what I'm saying? So for me, it's always been like, whether you do really well or you suck, like somebody's gonna always say something. It's like, you can't win. You just need to do it. Like. So
how did you get into dancing?
Dancing. That's another thing I did in my room. I watched music videos like my whole life growing up.
That's right.
For me, that was like my school. Watching music videos, dancing in my room, and then after high school, once I got to college, I joined a hip hop group. It was called Tifu Cultural Ensemble, and pretty much it was like poets, dancers, and artists. And so that was the first time I really like got to shine, and I started doing choreography and working with other people. And then I eventually got my minor in dance. Okay. So that took off, and I was a professional NBA dancer for the Milwaukee Bucks after that. And so dancing, I have more experience on the stage. Like I'm comfortable doing it in front of people. And so now it's like, okay, you gotta put them together, Ashley. Singing, dancing, and just do it,
That's right. Lady, I'm telling you, she can sing and dance. I recently had a chance to see her perform live. It was amazing, hands down, amazing.
Thank you.
It absolutely was. So let's go back. So how did you become a professional NBA dancer? How did that happen?
So after graduation, I started doing like a lot of dance gigs. I
Mm-hmm.
started teaching, and somebody told me to just go ahead and try out because the books were looking for dancers. I never wanted to be like on a dance team because I thought it was corny. Like you see, and I'm like, I smile all the time,
Right.
but when I perform, I'm like, no, you can't be cheesy. So I'm like, let me just go ahead, and I did it. And it was way more than I expected it to be, and so I guess what I can say is it was a lot different back home in Milwaukee. It wasn't. I feel like I stood out. Yeah, I feel like I stood like compared to like trying to do it here in Atlanta. It's way more dancers, and so Milwaukee is a smaller market, I think, for that. And so I think my style of dance and my stage presence stood out right away. And so I did it for 1 season, and then like after that, I ended up moving to Atlanta. But it was the lockout season.
Oh, okay.
It was a really fun experience. I learned a lot.
Yeah, I bet you did. That sounds like it was an amazing experience.
It was.
So why the move to Atlanta?
Music. Step up and step out on faith and pursue it and just really go for it. And because I knew I couldn't do everything I wanted to do in Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm. So what type of challenges have you faced as a singer-songwriter-dancer in Atlanta?
Well, I guess I can say there's a lot of us. Like I said, back home, it's like, oh, I'm the best at what I do. And it's like, you get somewhere else and like you're in a world full of other people who do exactly what you do. But it's like, okay, what sets you apart from it? Right. So you really have to like, or for me, I had to, like we said, get out of my own way. I would go to like open mics and stuff, and I noticed how nervous I would get. I would watch all of these people sing, and then I'm like, oh, I have to go after that. And so I had to like find ways to like navigate through that when I would do open mics or performances. Like maybe you can't sit there and watch somebody, because I started to nitpick and compare, and it's stop comparing yourself, Ashley, to everybody, and really embrace what it is you do. You can still work on your weaknesses and things that you mess up on, but you really got to embrace like what your gifts are and like focus on that. And then aside from that, I think just like discipline, like for myself, like learning who I am and how I work. And like, I think still for me, it's a challenge to want to do this full time, but then to also still have to support yourself with a job and like change like your mindset. Cause it's like, I'm used to somebody, being in school, somebody gives you homework every day, you take a test, you go to a job, they tell you the time, and it's like, you're an entrepreneur, you're starting something you love, like, nobody's giving you,
nobody's paying you for it.
And then like, it's like, what do I do? Where should I start? It's like, you're your own boss, but if you're not disciplined, you're not going to ever do nothing. So that's my biggest thing, is setting goals, sticking to them, and setting like timelines. It's really just like me and.
No. I get it. Like, yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask, is in a sea of singers, songwriters in Atlanta. I mean, because everybody's a singer, songwriter. Yeah, Uber driver's a singer, songwriter. The person at the, the waitress is a singer, songwriter. The person at the airport is a singer, songwriter. It's like, oh my goodness. So the ability to truly differentiate yourself from everyone else has to be, it has to be locked in, right? And I think that's something that most people don't kind of grasp onto, is how do I truly set myself apart from all these others so that I can be the one that gets noticed, right? And there's a lot of things that go in that. So I'm glad to hear you say things like setting goals and being disciplined and following up and doing those things that you set out to do, because without that, people can just, oh yeah, you're good at what you do, but you're not consistent, or you're not disciplined, or we need you to kind of do these things, but you're never available, right? So I think those types of characteristics is what sets people apart. So I think that's good. So you moved to Atlanta. So how did you really get involved in the scene here in Atlanta? So what kind of was the kickstart for you?
Right away, my manager, like, he pushed me to do open mics. Like, I was performing all the time, like, when I moved here. So I think the first place I was going to consistently was Legend Café.
Okay.
I remember, I think Crush House ENT, they were hosting events like every Friday. So I was always there, and they started to like remember my name, and they were like, okay. And they would listen to my music. They're like, oh, you sound like the track. Good. So I kept coming, and like there were some people like who couldn't sing, or you never, and just you would really be performing in front of other artists, but that was again my practice and like my training on stage. And I started doing a couple like dance gigs and stuff here and there. And do you remember like the Music Factory?
Yeah,
I was on there, and that's how I met some of my dancers. Oh. And so that worked out perfectly. And Perfect. I finally started, and then like doing dance auditions. Mm-hmm. I've auditioned for the Hawks a couple times. And I started using dancers for my live show. Mm. And like I said, we just were always doing something. Like mm-hmm. we were like booked every other week and just performing. And I think doing that gave me a lot of exposure.
Absolutely. So because they got to see you all the time.
I feel like I started building a name for myself. It was like, oh, you got to see her perform. And then, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw you perform was at Apache Café. Yeah. And it was 2 years ago, maybe? When did you move to Atlanta?
In 2012.
Yeah, so it probably was 2 years ago, something like that, when I saw you at Apache Café. And you had the two dancers up there, and y'all were just, killing it. And I think that was the first time I ran into you, and that was the first time I actually met Kevin. Was at Apache Café. Yep. And so, wow. So, advice to everybody. That's one of the things I think is important for people to do, is to be visible. And, you can't just, I tell people all the time, especially like producers, you can't just be in your basement or in your room just making beats and never go out and do anything, mm-hmm. because nobody's ever going to see you. And right. That was one of the reasons why I ended up moving from St. Louis to Atlanta, was the visibility. Yeah. I mean, I knew people down here, and I would always travel down here for my job, but because they didn't see me often, it kind of was like, oh, hey, it's good to see you. And then 6 months later, hey, it's good to see you. Yeah, I remember you. And I always had to tell people, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but my name is blah. And at the time, my name was Strychnine, but they were like, oh, yeah, I remember. And I was like, I can't have you just remember it, in a 6-month time frame. I need you to know all the time that I'm here to do what needs to be done. So that's a huge word of advice, is visibility. Mm-hmm. And absolutely visibility. So let's talk about your process when you get into songwriting. So how does that work for you?
I started off, I was just getting beats at the beginning. Like, I didn't even know I could write. So, like, I would get beats sent my way, and then I just started writing, and it just started flowing. And just over time with practice, I got good at it. Mm-hmm. And now I feel like I'm the most vulnerable writing now. Like, I can't help but to write about real stuff. Like, I'm not really somebody who likes to just write out, just random stuff. Like, mm-hmm. I feel like I'm really open lyrically. And for the most part, I've always written by myself, like in my room or something. But now, like, especially joining writing sessions in America, mm-hmm. I've learned like the importance of collaborating. And so I feel like a lot of times now, some of the stuff that I've written in the past couple of years, I'll go back and I'll let somebody else hear, and I might link up with somebody else, and then we'll tweak something. So sometimes that works good for me too.
Okay. So what are some of so in collaborating with others and writing with other people, what are some of the challenges or even some of the great things that come out of collaborating with other songwriters?
I think being in control is the hardest thing, because again, I'm used to doing everything by myself. And then sometimes like you have to at the beginning. So like doing my own choreography, writing my own songs, picking my own beats. I know exactly how I want everything to go. And so when you start collaborating with anybody in any form, like sometimes it's difficult because it's like you have to compromise. But then at the same time, it's like, well, I'm the artist. And it's like, what do you want to say? But then it's like, do you trust this person enough to try it and just to see what happens? So it's kind of like a give and take thing. And I think you have to be open to like the people that you allow to be around you and really listen to them, because they're there for a reason. So, and then in the end, it's a good thing, because it's like always better than what you had the first time. And then you'll know like, okay, who you may not need to work with next time.
I'm not working with you next time because I know how we.
Or like if they didn't push you or make you greater, it's like, okay, this person's cool, keep that relationship, but what they're bringing to me, like it's not no, it's not becoming greater than what it could be. And
Mm.
so then there are other people where it's like, oh, you made this song way better than what it was. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that can be hard to do though. Working with other songwriters and you kind of have a vision for the song, and then they may have a vision for the song, and then really kind of blending both of those together, and even trying kind of just putting aside your own ego and pride or whatever it may be to say, okay, I want to make this song the best song possible, regardless of, if it's 100% all my words or 100% all your words, but how can we really figure this out to make a really great body of work, right? And I think that's a challenge for some people, but once you get into the groove and you build that trust, then I guess it becomes really, really, really easy. But you do identify who you don't want to work with anymore,
Or like, not right now,
Right.
or this doesn't make sense.
who you don't want to work with, but those individuals that you built a solid relationship with and that you can kind of go back to. Right?
And I think like both parties have to like be open to sharing something about themselves, because if you just start writing with somebody, it's like, what are we talking about? Like, we don't know nothing about each other. So I find that helps too, working with a producer or a songwriter. Like, you got to speak up and say what it is that's going on in your life so that they know we're all on the same page lyrically or musically.
So how do you approach that when you're working with a producer that you may not know, another songwriter you may not know? How do you kind of get to that point where you can be vulnerable with each other to write those amazing, amazing songs?
I've only had a few instances where like I worked closely with a producer, but in those times we had to just talk. Like they would play music for me, and then I would, I'm feeling this, I like this, and then kind of just play on the mic and just let stuff come out. And then we, in between time, we had to go back and forth and talk. Okay, what are you feeling? What does this mean? Why did you say that? And then tell the story. And then also doing like boot camps and writing sessions. A lot of times you have new members come in. So sometimes you're in a group and you don't know the person. So Kevin always encourages us, like, make sure y'all talk before you start writing. So we may pray, we may all go around and just say something about ourselves, and you'll find like something that we all have in common. And then I think that's how that's usually pretty important before you start writing, to know something about the person you're writing.
Absolutely. It makes it easier to kind of get to the point, and it makes it faster versus, hey, how are you? Okay.
Let's get to it.
Okay, let's get to it, right? So share with us your work with the youth. I read something about working with young girls and helping them build confidence and self-esteem and things like that. So how did that originate? Where did that start from?
Well, one campaign, I haven't done too much lately, but it was called Let's Wait. And it's about waiting to have sex. And I know everybody's not going to wait to have sex until they're married. That's what I'm doing. But it was basically like just...
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I wanted to make sure that like people knew like you could do what you want to do. You can live your dreams, do what you want to do, be who you are, and still like stay true to like what you believe in and what you want to do. Not to allow people to peer pressure you. Like no matter what age you are, and if you've had sex or you want to start over and you want to wait, whatever it is, like don't let the outside world affect you doing that. And so I did a couple events like where I would go and I would speak to the young kids, and then I would perform afterwards. And then what I'm doing now, I have a dance class, and it's called The Confident Woman. And so I've done 3 of those so far, and that was geared towards, all my classes are 18 and up.
Okay.
So, but it's just supposed to be really like a confidence booster for women through dance. I find that like a lot of women reach out and they'll see me dance and stuff on Instagram or whatever, and they're like, you need to do a dance class. So I finally started having like a demand for it. So I'm like, okay, I need to do this. I'm doing something that people like and that they want. So like through teaching them like a simple routine, I'm also like teaching them about stage presence. And then like some people aren't dancers. Some people come and they just want to work out, or they just want to have fun, or just come to support, but they're may not be a dancer. And so I think like doing something you've never done before, or trying something new, like you're taking a whole bunch of stuff with you when you leave the class. And so I also don't want it to be like a regular class. So I bring like goodies at the end. I'll give gift bags out. We'll do icebreakers at the beginning. And yeah, I think they seem to enjoy it. So it's still fairly new. But I want to keep playing with the theme of the classes and stuff. And so
That's right. So if you're in the Atlanta area and you want to build your confidence and self-esteem, this is the one to go to. Absolutely.
And also, people have actually been reaching out to me a lot these past couple of years, just like wanting to work one-on-one, like with the artist. So they just want me to sit and watch them rehearse and like help with stage
kind of give them tips and stage presence.
Yeah, and so I'm learning like, okay, this could be something like you said with people people like tell you what they want from you, and so I think you just have to walk in that and then see where it takes you because it'll yeah.
You never know where that may lead.
And I enjoy it so.
Good. So let's talk about your music. So where can we? So what have you been working on lately? Let's start there.
I'm gonna be honest. It's been some years since I put out a project. That's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
So all of my music right now is on my website, iTunes, Amazon, Google Play. But yeah, I have my catalog, but I'm still narrowing down the songs. I'm doing some editing, letting people listen to it here and there. It feels like it's taking forever, but I was like, I know that because it's been so long, I'm like, it gotta be right. But I'm getting antsy too, and I'm just like, okay.
So I want to go back to what you just said. So it has to be right. What does that mean?
Like, I always want to make sure that people see growth, especially people that have been with me from the beginning. I don't want, like I said, it's been like maybe 5-6 years. I don't want to put something out. It's like, oh, is this what she came with? But like for me, like I feel it, and I know that I sound different. I sing better. My writing is better. I'm collaborating with people, so I want everything to be better than before. And I want it to be authentic and like be real to like who I am and dig a little bit deeper. And I think this time around, people will notice that I'm a lot more vulnerable and like I'm touching on stuff that I maybe never talked about before. And
I think those make the best songs.
I'm excited.
Period. I'm excited. That sounds really, really good.
So I don't have no date for you yet, but it's coming.
But it's coming. But if you go to, well, I'm not going to give her all her. She'll share that in just a few moments. But absolutely, it's going to be. I already know it's going to be a great project. So, but just working through that process, I think that's what makes great music. When the vulnerability comes out. I think of when I just hear R&B songs, to me the best album Mary J. Blige ever put out was My Life. And that's because she was so vulnerable on that album. I mean, she talked about her hurt, her pain, her relationships. I mean, it was her faith in God. I mean, it was so much in that album. When you listen to it from the beginning to the end, you're just like, man. And it's just, I think those, instead of just doing I'm just gonna make an R&B song about love or, that anybody can make. But when you make songs that is about your life and it's about where you are in life and you're putting yourself out there and you're allowing people to connect with you, I think that is where the best music comes from. Absolutely.
I like the 90s R&B and like when you said about like you have a full project and there's not necessarily a theme, but there's a message behind it. Like you said, like My Life, she's telling you everything. That's right. So, and it's like in one piece of like work. And so, and that's, you go back and forth about EPs or how many songs only do this many, but it's like, I fell in love with like R&B as a child, like in listening to somebody's album all the way through, reading all the credits. That's right. And like, I felt like I was like, oh, I know something about this person. I know their life. Like they're giving me, all the tools to learn something about them. So
that's right. And the more that fans can connect with the artist, the more that they'll be in tune with them, the more that they are willing to buy their music and kind of be that long life fan versus folks who just put out maybe, I'm gonna put out this song just because that's what's popular and that's what people are doing versus kind of thinking about that longevity for themselves. So what's next for you? Once you put out this project, where do you see yourself wanting to go?
I'm speaking it into existence.
Let's do it.
I want to leave my job. I work in retail. I want to leave my job and I want to tour. Like, I feel like I'm like, Ashley, you need to set a deadline, put your project out, and then just watch stuff work. Because I feel like nobody said anything to me, but I feel like in my mind, that's what people are waiting on. Like, people, it's like people can see the talent, but it's like, I need a product now and I want something behind me. So if I decide I want to tour, I want to do something, I'll have my music ready and available for people to purchase and to listen to. And because I don't want to keep saying, oh, go back and listen to my song from 2012. Like, I hate that. Like, it's a good song, but like, I feel like I have so much more. So, yeah, I want to leave my job, and I want to tour. I want to do what I love, and for more opportunities to open up for me through not just the music, but then also like my dance class and getting a bigger following and connecting with people on and off stage.
Yeah. I think that is a lot of people's dreams. This guy right here. Eventually, one day we'll leave the corporate world and fulfill the dreams that we really want to live.
And that'd be enough. Like,
that'd be enough. We can pay the bills.
Yeah.
We can be in charge of our life. We have ultimate freedom, and it's just so much better without having other people kind of dictate to you what you need to do, what time you need to be here, and if you got a show, well, we need you to stay late because we got. And it's like, I want to be in charge of my own life.
Yeah.
And I don't want a boss to be in charge of my life. I want to be that person. So what advice would you have for someone coming into this music industry?
Surround yourself with people who really care about you and people that like you can learn from. And I feel like we all have some intuition, like, so you'll know and you'll learn through trial and error, but really make sure you're around people who want the best for you, and like it shows, and then, and they're guiding you and you're helping you. What else? It's okay to make mistakes, but like stand in it, like own up to it. Like if you make a mistake and something that like you don't have to hide it. I think a long time I thought I had to like be perfect. People don't want to see that. So like if you make mistakes, learn from it and then move on. Like you didn't fail, you learned something from it, so now you can be stronger. And let me see, one more thing. I guess like don't be afraid to be you.
Oh my goodness.
Like so don't.
That's the biggest one.
Like don't stand in your own way. Don't let fear or anybody else like get you off track. Like and it's a process. It's not gonna come right away, but put like I listen to a lot of like motivational stuff and positive stuff in the morning. So like trying to weed out all the negativity and just stay positive and work on like self-help and positive thinking, because for me, I can talk all day about it, but I can get my own way just thinking negative thoughts. And so put the right stuff in you and your spirit. And
you have to put yourself in a position where you are thinking positively. I mean, there's so much negativity around. There's so much judgment. There's some criticism, fear. I mean, there's so many things around, and a person can drown themselves in all of those different things, comparing themselves to the next person, considering, am I really the most talented person to do this? Does anybody really care that I'm just an artist? And, kind of like you said, surround yourself with people who really care about you and care about your career and where you want to go, because there are a lot of vultures. Yeah, absolutely. And they just like, you're talented? Cool. Let me figure out a way to make some money off of you. And not everybody really cares about, but when you find those people that are genuine, that really care, then those are the people you want to stay around with for a very, very, very long time.
And nurture those relationships. Don't always be take, but really appreciate them and give and support them as well.
You have to. I mean, you have to, because it's a relationship between you both. Not only are you concerned with your career, but you should be also concerned about the things that they have going on and ways that you can help support them also. So where can people find you?
Ashley.com is my website. AshleYYY.com. And all of my social media is one word, Ashley Music.
All right. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so why the 3 Ys?
Oh, so I originally started off in a girl group. It was 3 of us, and all of our names are Ashley. So I said, our name should just be Ashley. We'll spell it with 3 Ys, and 3 Ys would mean triple threat. But it also meant like not only that there's 3 of us, but we all have different talents. Like we all are good at so many different things. And so the group split like 6 months later. I'm like, I'm gonna keep my name because I'm still a triple threat.
Right.
Praise the Lord.
Triple threat. You notice it's on the shirt. Triple threat. That's right. Well, Ashley, it has been great to have you on the show today. Greatly appreciate it. Got to have you back once again, especially when the project drops.
Yes.
And then we can talk about the project and the process and how all that went. But it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you very, very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that's it. We're out.